Hello guys and welcome to Instant Nerd. In this video we're gonna see how you can stream a video game on YouTube using Streamlabs. So we're gonna open up Streamlabs desktop. So assuming that you downloaded and installed the latest version, your Streamlabs desktop should look a little bit like this. You've got the preview window on the top, then you've got your scenes, sources and mixer down below, and then down here there's the option to go live, which means to stream. This is the replay buffer and this is the record button where you can start recording. This is your notification window, this is your performance window, this is your account and logging in, this is settings, this is help, and this is to get the Ultra subscription for Streamlabs. In the top left here, you can either be in the editor or you can view your recordings. In the recordings tab, you can either clip, subtitle or edit your videos, but that is outside the scope of this video, so we're going to go back to the editor and keep things simple. Now before I start a game and tell you how to stream, I'm going to show you some basic settings and how to set up your scene in OBS. So scenes are basically how you set up your sources. Your sources are the things that you use to capture either audio or video from your computer and then record it or stream it online. When you freshly download OBS, you might see 3 scenes over here, like live, be right back, and maybe some other one, with a sweet little transition in between different scenes. If you want to keep using those, then that's cool, but I'll show you how to make a new scene and give it your own touch. So click on this little add icon over here, name your scene whatever you want to. I'm just gonna go with the default, click on done, and in this new scene you can add sources which will either capture your desktop or your audio. So let's add a new source over here, so click on the plus icon in the sources panel, and then we're going to choose display capture. Add a source, and here we go. So the display capture is now showing what is on our display, and you can change the properties over here by right clicking on it and then clicking properties. Now over here I can choose whatever monitor I want to run if I'm running multiple monitors. I can also choose what capture method I want. Just keep it on automatic and let Streamlabs do the job for you. You can enable capture cursor if you want to. Also, if you're having issues with HDR, then make sure that force SDR is checked, otherwise this option is pretty much useless. So just click on done and we're back here. Let's just quickly go over some of the sources that you can add into Streamlabs. So in the essential sources, you'll see media file, which means a video file that you can run, maybe your stream highlights or something like that. Then there's the video capture device, which means your webcam if you're running one. Then there is screen capture, which can capture your game, other applications, or the entire monitor. It usually works for most games, but I don't recommend it. What I do recommend for video games is all the way down here in the general sources, game capture. Now this is a very lightweight method to capture your video games, and it works with most modern games. So let's just quickly add the source, add source. Now here you can choose the mode. You can specifically select which window you want to, so let's say capture any full screen application or capture specific window, and then you can tell it which exact window to capture. These are all the executables that are running, and if there's a game over here, then I will select that and OBS will specifically stream that in the preview window and also online. Then these couple of options are not really necessary. What you want is the use anti-cheat capability hook checked, capture cursor checked if you want to, hook rate should be normal, and the color space sRGB is fine. And close the window. So since game capture is not really hooked to a game right now, it's not really capturing anything in the moment, so I'm just gonna hide it for the time being. Now we're back to display capture, and remember the sources work like layers, so whatever is on top of the other thing, the item on top is going to appear first and then the item below it. So let's say I have a little overlay over here and I want my game capture to be in a specific frame of the video. What I can do is just do this, resize, and adjust where I want the game capture to be. But since overlays are outside the scope of this video, I'm going to skip that for now. Let's just talk about other sources at the moment. So you can also add an image, you can add a matte color black, and also text. These are for graphic designing and maybe designing your own overlays, which you can then sell on Etsy if you want to. Browser source is the essential tool that you use for chats and widgets and web pages. So chat boxes are very necessary for streaming video games. I recommend using that. You can use an image slideshow, display capture, which we're running, window capture, game capture, and also if you run a couple of different microphones and you keep changing between them, then you want to use audio input capture, which can input any built-in microphones, USB microphones, auxiliary microphones, or even the microphone in your webcam. So use it if you have to, but since I don't really change microphones at all, I just have one microphone that runs all the time and I don't change it, so I don't really need that. Same with the audio output capture, but I almost use my headphones all the time, so I don't really need to add this. It's already detected in this area, as you can see over here, which we'll come back to in a moment. You can use the OpenVR capture system, application audio, to capture the specific audio of any application that you're running, maybe a game, maybe a music program, or anything like that. And Spout 2 capture is for VTubers, meaning virtual avatars, if you're into that sort of thing. Scene, which means scene inside a scene, it's usually used for compositing. And then Instant Replay helps you to replay your latest highlight. Down here, you'll see widgets, but you need to be logged in for that, so we'll come back to that in a moment. You can also make a folder in here and then add sources inside this folder to move them at the same time, resize them at the same time, and whatever and whatnot. So that's pretty awesome too. We'll delete that for now. And that's really all for sources. Now let's talk about the mixer. So the mixer means the audio mixer, and it shows you all of your audio input devices over here and their levels. So as you can see, I'm running my microphone and it is detecting my voice level. Now generally this shouldn't really go into the red area, and if it is, then it is recommended to kind of reduce that a little bit, but don't reduce it too much that it drowns out your desktop audio. Since there's no audio running right now, you don't really see anything in the desktop audio. Let's say if you don't want to use any of these audios, then you can click on this icon, and when you see the slash in this speaker icon, it means that it has been disabled. Let me disable that, and you'll see I'm still speaking, but it's not picking up any signal because I've disabled it. So just click it once again to enable that. You can change the audio level of any audio sources you have using this slider. And one special thing about Streamlabs is that it lets you add filters. So if I click this little gear icon in the microphone area over here, it'll open a little drop down menu, and then I can go onto filters, edit filters. Over here, I can add filters. So I'm going to delete these. And as you can see, I'm not going to speak anything, and you'll still see some levels. See that? So that is essentially the white noise, or the noise in the background of the microphone. So if you want to get rid of that, just click on add filter. Go to noise suppression, add, and then set it to RN noise. Speaks just does not work. It's really terrible. Just use RN noise. It really doesn't use all that much CPU, as it says over here. It's really lightweight and really good. And then one more I recommend to make your audio a little bit punchy is gain. So you just choose gain and add, and I'll just increase it by 2 or 3 decibels. For now, I'll just do 3, and that's that. Click on close, and now you are familiar with the basic layout of Streamlabs. So in the left bottom corner, you can see this little gear icon over here, and that's the settings icon. So click on it to open settings. So once you open settings, you'll be in the general tab, and here you'll see a lot of quality of life improvements and choices that you can select if you want to, like disable hardware acceleration. This is recommended for people who have a stronger CPU as compared to their GPU, but that's not the case for me, so I will not check this. And if you accidentally clicked on setup for recording only while setting up Streamlabs, then you can come over here in the settings and then uncheck this little tab, and then you'll have streaming features enabled once again. If you have any settings to import from OBS, you can import them from here, which is pretty awesome. You can choose to show the confirmation dialog when the stream starts, stops, automatically recording on, keep recording when the streaming stops, and other quality of life improvements. In the source alignment snapping, you can disable snapping if you want to. I don't really recommend that. So the next tab is multi-streaming, which essentially means to stream on 2 or more platforms at the same time. For example, YouTube and Facebook at the same time. Then the next one, and the most important one, is the stream. Here you will choose which streaming service you want to choose. So if you have it on streaming services, you'll see the contemporary ones like Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Restream, and Twitter. If you want to stream on another service which is not listed here, let's say kick.com, which is pretty new and hot right now, so you'll click custom streaming server, you'll copy the server URL and your kick stream key over here to start streaming on that platform. But for now, I'm just going to keep it on YouTube. The main thing in the YouTube is your stream key. So if you enter your account's stream key, which we will get to later, this is how you'll be able to stream on your YouTube account. Now, going to output, you can either choose between simple or advanced mode. For beginners, I recommend simple mode. There's really not that much of a difference. In the video bitrate, you can go as low as 2500 or as up as 6000. It really depends on your internet speed and how powerful your rig is, but in most cases, I recommend that 4000 is really the sweet spot of maybe not pushing your system too hard and also keeping things smooth. But if you want a high bitrate, feel free to go to 5000, 5500, or even 6000. And if you see that your stream is a bit laggy, then just just reduce it down to 3000 or 2500 and you'll be good to go. So the encoder is a little bit special. So software X264 means to use your CPU to encode all the video that Streamlabs will record and then put it on the YouTube stream or wherever you're streaming. So if you have a really fast and powerful CPU, then I recommend using software X264. But in my case, I have a very powerful GPU and it's from NVIDIA, so I will choose NVIDIA NVENC H.264. And that's the one I recommend if you also have an NVIDIA GPU. But if you're using an AMD GPU, or if your GPU is not as powerful as your CPU, then just keep it on software X264. So most of the streaming services are going to compress your audio bitrate to 128, but I like to stream at a little bit of a higher rate, so even after the compression there's some sort of residual left. I generally recommend 192 for gaming and maybe 320 only if you're streaming really high quality music like FL Studio or maybe a guitar stream or something like that, but 192 is a sweet spot and that's what I recommend. Then I recommend to click on Enable Advanced Encoder Settings. This allows you to choose how much of the CPU that you want to use if you have it on X264, but generally P5 slow with good quality is the best option in my opinion, so I'm going to keep it on that. If that's giving you issues, just disable that and you'll be good to go. This video is really about streaming, but in case you're going to be recording as well, I recommend to choose this option. Is indistinguishable quality, large file size, and the recording format should always be MP4. Don't choose any other ones, especially if you want to edit your footage, and the encoder obviously should be NVIDIA NVENC H.264. So I don't really understand why in the audio tab Streamlabs doesn't just come with 48 kilohertz default audio bitrate. I don't know why that's the case, but really this is the industry standard. This is the standard for all streaming services. So you just want to change it to this and restart Streamlabs. No need to restart your computer, just restart Streamlabs and you'll be fine. Honestly, this should be the default option by now. Then down here, if you want to specifically add your audio devices, you can do that. But I really recommend just keeping it on default and let Streamlabs do the job for you, and that's just going to be fine. Next tab is the video. So here you can choose the base resolution and the output scaled resolution. Now in ideal format, these two should match, but in case you're running a monitor that is higher or lower than 1080p, then I highly recommend you to change the output scale resolution in 1080p. Now if you want to stream at a platform that allows you to stream higher resolution than that, then obviously go for it. But really in terms of streaming, 1080p, which is also called Full HD, is the gold standard, so there's really no meaning to go higher than that for now. If that's giving you issues, or you see that your stream is a bit laggy, or your computer can't really handle this, or you're getting choppy frame rate due to low upload speed, then use 720p, which is called Just HD. But I'm going to keep it on Full HD for now. And the downscale filter should be bicubic. In the FPS values, you either want to choose between common FPS values or integer FPS values, which integer just locks it to whatever FPS that you choose down here, and common FPS lets to keep the frames per second variable and shoot it up or down when needed. So I'll just put it on common FPS values, and the FPS value for video games is obviously 60. You don't want any lower than that unless you have really terrible internet speed. So once that's done, the next is hotkeys, which is a quintessential for streaming video games. This pretty much allows you to set up hotkeys for anything that you can imagine, and the hotkeys in Streamlabs are very strong. So if you have a macro keyboard, I highly recommend that you map some keys to all of these options that you deem necessary for your streaming. So next up is advanced, and over here you can see the process priority, and over here you can choose high, above normal, normal, below normal, or idle. Generally just keep it on normal, but if you see that Streamlabs is getting laggy or you're getting choppy footage, then you can try to go above normal or high to give it more CPU power, and really that fixes any issues like that. Next up in the video is the color format. Now this is really nerdy stuff and you can choose whatever you want to. I just like to keep it on the default, that's completely fine. And in the YUV color space, you can change it to all the given ones. Now Rec 709 has really become the industry standard, but you can choose between this or sRGB. All the other ones are a little bit different and sometimes not really supported in video editing programs, or even if they are, they'll give you bloated colors. So I just recommend choosing between Rec 709 or sRGB, and you're gonna be fine. And in the color range, you'll see limited here at first, so I recommend changing it to full. You want the full color range to make a colorful and contrasty image when you're streaming, and make sure that Force GPU as render device is checked. And then there are a little bit other contemporary settings which you can mess around with if you want to. Nothing really too important here. In the scene collections, you'll see export overlay file or import overlay file. Sometimes if you've purchased an overlay, they will come with a file that you can simply import and it'll do the work for you, so that's pretty useful. You can also import a widget file in the current scene. You need to be logged in for this. And then this option here is to manage dual output scenes, something for advanced creators. In the notifications, you can enable the notifications. You can also enable the sound on the notifications, but I just don't really like the sound, as if you're streaming a video game and if you get that annoying little sound, it just looks really weird. Notifications are fine because you get to see what's really going on with the Streamlabs. If you're getting choppy frames, if you're getting things like that, it'll tell you that you're getting any issues and what you'll need to fix those issues. So I recommend to keep the notifications on but disable the sound. And then the next tab is appearance, so you can choose between the night and the day theme. If you like, I don't know, white, you can go with this. I'll just stick to night, save my eyes a little bit. And then you have chat settings. You can adjust the text size over here, and if you're logged in, then you can customize your own navigation bar and set up your own applications here. And if you get excited about features and products relating to Streamlabs, you can enable this. If not, then just disable it. It's fine either way. And then there is remote control to control the Streamlabs software and your setup using your phone, may it be iOS or Android. And then we have virtual webcam, where your scenes actually work as your webcam, like in Zoom meetings or something, so if you want to use that. But this is an experimental feature and it may have some bugs, so keep that in mind. Then there is game overlay, also another experimental feature. So this essentially works like Discord overlay or Steam overlay. So what you can do is access Streamlabs and options, whatever you have, without going out of a video game, like without changing tabs. So that's pretty awesome, but it is experimental, so expect some bugs. In the Get Support page, you can get support or join the community. You can have your own diagnostic report with Streamlabs will fetch for you. You got your cache directory. If you're getting script frames or things like that, then try deleting the cache and restart and other things. And down here, the final tab is Ultra, so Streamlabs Ultra, where you get crazy different features, including video editing and podcast editing and all these features listed here. You get a ton of overlays, 10 gigabytes of storage, and much more. So it's $19 a month or $149 a year. So if you want to, you can go ahead and get the Ultra version. So as you can see, there's a game running on my screen. So it's a sweet little indie game, and we're going to try to stream that. So before we actually stream the game, we obviously need to sign in. So I'm going to click on account or the login button. I'm going to go log in with YouTube. So it's going to take you to the browser, and you got to finish the sign up process here. I'm going to select the account that I want to sign in with. Now I'm going to select the channel that I want to stream it on. Click on continue. Continue again. Give it a second as it loads. So once again, the game capture, right click on it, properties, and then capture specific window. Operation Polygon Storm, there it is. So there we go, got my game capture working finally. So I'm going to click on go live. So I can select if I want to multi-stream from over here. As you can see, it does say the name of my channel. So when we're here, we're going to give our stream a little title. I'm going to change the privacy to private for now, since I don't want it to go public. Obviously, you're going to set it to public. The category is gaming. You can upload a thumbnail from right in Streamlabs if you want to. So this is pretty cool. You don't have to go to YouTube and then use the YouTube live features, although they are pretty good, I must say. But this just makes it a whole lot easier and faster. So all I have to do now is click on confirm and go live. It's going to work on the stream first. Update the settings for YouTube and start the video transmission. Here we go. So that window will close automatically. On the right side, you will see the chat. So if anybody writes anything in the chat, you're going to see it right here. And as you can see on the top right corner here, it's actually giving us the real-time duration of the live video, how many viewers we have. And right now I'm having a little bit of internet issues, so it's not really loading my chat. Otherwise, this will load your chat over here, so you can chat with your viewers. And yeah, this is how you stream on YouTube or any other platform for that matter using Streamlabs. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and learned something from it. And if you did, then don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more content. Have a good one.